Hello, my wonderful students. Good morning to you all. I welcome you to this amazing class this morning. I believe you are all prepared for the class. Get seated with your writing materials and avoid any form of distraction as we continue. Today we'll be treating a topic together again titled Common Diseases of Farm Animals Caused by Nutritional Disorder. Common diseases of farm animals caused by nutritional disorder. But before then, let's take up the correction for last week's assignment. Last assignment correction. You were asked to give other name or other word for anemia. Here, anemia means shortage of blood, or you can use the word deficiency of blood or blood deficiency. And as well, you were asked to mention ways or what good sanitation requires. Good sanitation requires the farmer to regularly clean his environment. Remember, good sanitation is one of the ways of controlling farm animal diseases. Preventive measures to all farm animal diseases is maintaining good sanitation, and it requires the farmer to regularly clean his environment. Let's take note of that as we continue. Objective of today's topic: diseases of farm animals caused by nutritional disorder. 1. You are expected to identify some animal diseases caused by nutritional disorder. 2. Discuss the mode of transmission of the diseases. 3. Outline the symptoms of the diseases. 4. State some ways of preventing the diseases. These are what you are expected to know at the end of this topic. Let's quickly treat this topic. 1 disease of farm animal caused by nutritional disorder is bloat. It's a very good example of disease of farm animal caused by nutritional disorder. The disease affects all domestic animals. All domestic animals. I believe you can still remember domestic animals. Pick up your pen now and write out 5 domestic animals you know. Five domestic animals. Just pick up your pen and write it out. 5 domestic animals you know. Right, I believe you have written that. The disease affects all domestic animals. We have cattle, goat, sheep, and so on. There are many domestic animals. Animals that are domesticated at home. It is the accumulation of gases in the first compartment of ruminant animals. How would you notice bloat? When there is accumulation of gases in the first compartment of ruminant animals. I believe we all know ruminant animals. Animals that chew their cud. Ruminant animals. Animals that chew their cud. We have cattle. We have goats, sheep. These are ruminant animals. So the gas accumulates in the ruminant stomach, ruminant animal's stomach. When there is accumulation of gases or gas in the first compartment of the ruminant animal's stomach, such disease is referred to as bloat. Let's take note of that. And remember, the first compartment, the first stomach of ruminant animal is known as rumen. Their stomach is divided into 4. We have rumen, reticulum, omasum, and abomasum. So when there is a gas accumulated in the first compartment, in the first stomach, such gas or disease is called bloat. Take note of that. Causes: 1. Nutritional disorder. What can lead to that is nutritional disorder when the animals are poorly fed. Let's take note of that. Mode of transmission, poor feeding. Generally, all diseases caused by nutritional disorder, the mode of transmission is usually poor feeding. When the animals are not properly given enough food, when they are not properly taken care of in terms of feeding, animals are to be taken care of in terms of feeding. Their feeding rates or their feeding should be complete. They should be given complete ration. Remember what ration is: the sum total of food given to farm animals per day. Their food must be complete, both maintenance ration, production ration, and so on. Their food must contain all forms of ration. So when these animals are not given enough or a complete ration, definitely they will have diseases caused by nutritional disorder. Let's see the symptoms of bloat. 1. Swollen stomach. Because gas has accumulated in the stomach of these ruminant animals, the animal definitely will have swollen stomach. When a farmer notices that the stomach of his domestic animal is swollen, such farmers should suspect bloat as the disease that has affected or infected the disease that has affected the animal. Let's take note of that. The animals is being infected by bloat, swollen stomach. As you can see, this particular animal, the stomach is heavily swollen, and as well as the stomach is heavily swollen, as if the animal is pregnant. Even a pregnant animal cannot be affected to this. The stomach cannot be as swollen as this. So when the animal is not pregnant, the animal is being affected by swollen stomach. Such animal has contracted bloat. 2. Diarrhea. Diarrhea is another sign of bloat or another symptom of bloat. Salivation, which is almost common to other diseases of farm animals, which is almost common. Vomiting, as well common. Difficulty in breathing, and sudden death. Sudden death without symptom. Sudden death. These are the symptoms of bloat. The most noticeable one is swollen stomach. Let's take note of this as the most noticeable symptom of bloat in farm animal. Another one, we have the treatment of this disease. 1. Administration of defoaming agents like groundnut oil. Defoaming agents like groundnut oil can help in the treatment of bloat. We have passing a long tube into the stomach to remove the object causing obstruction. That will be done by veterinary officers. A tube will be passed down to the stomach of these animals to remove the obstruction, the gas present in their system. Let's take note of that. Prevention: maintaining pasture that do not contain more than 50% legumes. When the animals consume more of legumes, when their ration is not balanced, they consume more of legumes under roughages. These animals can be infected by bloat. So farmers should maintain pastures that do not contain more than 50% legumes. Their other food supplements should be given to farm animals instead of legumes alone. 2. We have rickets. Ricket is another disease of farm animal caused by nutritional disorder. Ricket. Rachitis. Let's take note of that. This disease results from lack of certain mineral and vitamin in the body. It results from lack of certain minerals and vitamin in the body. Mineral is a food nutrient, classes of food. Take note of that. When the animal lack a particular food nutrient like minerals and vitamin, the animals will be infected by ricket. Causes: lack of calcium, phosphorus, and vitamin D. since it's as a result of lack of minerals. Minerals like calcium, phosphorus, and vitamin D, deficiency of it will lead to rickets in animals' body. Let's take note of that. Deficiency of calcium, phosphorus, and vitamin D will lead to rickets as animal disease caused by nutritional disorder. Mode of transmission: poor feeding. Poor feeding. When the animals are not well fed, when their ration is not balanced, instead of giving these animals all classes of food, carbohydrates, vitamin, protein, minerals, and so on, when the animals are fed with just a particular class of food, such animal can be infected by rickets. Poor feeding can cause rickets. Symptoms: how would you know that an animal has been infected by rickets? The most noticeable one is improper developed bone. When the bones are not properly developed, improperly developed bones. You see these animals trying to lift the leg, the bones are not strong. That is lack of calcium, deficiency of calcium in the body. Deficiency of calcium in the body can lead to rickets. Let's take note of that. Deficiency of calcium, the bones will not be strong. The bones will be weak. The animals find it difficult to stand perfectly. So when you discover this among animals that cannot stand for a long time, or with their legs up, one leg up, not equal, such animal has been infected by rickets. 2. Soft shell eggs. Soft shell eggs. When they lay egg like poultry birds, the egg shell will be so soft that before handling it can easily break. When you discover this as a poultry farmer, in conclusion, the animal has been infected by ricket. Poor feeding, which is caused by poor feeding or deficiency of calcium in the animal's body. Let's take note of that. Prevention. How would you prevent this? Addition of certain meal to their food, like fish meal, bone meal, wheat bran. Fish meal, bone meal, wheat bran can increase vitamin B intake. You increase vitamin B intake, and as well you increase the intake of vitamin B. When you increase the intake of vitamin B, their bones as well will be strong. Increase the intake of calcium, their bones will be strong. Intake of all the minerals, their bones will definitely be strong. I believe we are following. Then we have another one called anemia. Anemia. In the last assignment given to us, I asked us to write out the other word for anemia, which we have taken the correction: shortage of blood or blood deficiency among animals. Blood deficiency, low level of blood, that is anemia. It as well affects all domestic animals, especially pig. This disease affects mostly pig. Take note of that. All domestic animals, especially pig. You discover that all disease-causing organisms based on nutritional disorder affects all animals, even man. When man is not well fed, I believe you know the disease that is attached to it. We call it kwashiorkor. So that of animal, you have different one which you have discussed: blood, rickets. Now we are talking about anemia. Anemia mainly affects pig, all domestic animals, especially pig. Let's take note of that. Causes: iron deficiency in the blood. When there is iron deficiency in the blood, remember I told us that the feeds given to farm animals must be complete. It must be balanced. We call it balanced ration, maintenance ration, and production ration. When the feed contains all the classes of food, it is referred to as balanced ration. Deficiency of iron in the blood leads to anemia. Deficiency of calcium and vitamin leads to rickets. I believe we are all following. Take note of that. Iron deficiency in the animal's body leads to anemia. And anemia means shortage of blood or deficiency in blood. Take note of that. Mode of transmission as well through feeding. The mode of transmission is also through feeding or poor feeding. When the animals are not properly fed with iron, when there is deficiency in iron intake, then the animals will be affected by anemia. Symptoms: 1. Loss of appetite. 2. Nervousness. 3. The animal look pale. 4. We have labor respiration. These are the symptoms of anemia. Correction, treatment, and control. Injection of 1 to 2 milliliter of iron into the body. You inject iron into the body. Very important. And which will always be done by a veterinary officer. The next one is ketosis. Ketosis is as well a disease of farm animal caused by nutritional disorder. Ketosis. This disease occurs mainly or mostly in high milk producing animals such as cow. We know that cow produces the highest milk yield. It mainly affects cow, high yield producing animal. Ketosis affects high yield producing animals like cow. The milk from cow is always higher than that of goat, sheep, pig, and other farm animals. So cow is the most animals infected by ketosis. Mode of transmission: through feeding. Through feeding as well. Through feeding. Take note of that. Or poor feeding. You can use the word poor feeding. Symptoms: low milk production. Low milk production, because it affects high milk producing animals. When the animals are infected by ketosis, definitely the milk level will reduce. The milk production level will reduce. There will be low milk production as one of the symptoms when you discover that your animal milk yield is low. Two things come to your mind: either mastitis or ketosis. A veterinary officer will be able to identify which of it. Remember when we treated mastitis, low milk yield is as well a symptom of mastitis. But in terms of mastitis, the milk will be low, the yield will be low, smelling and watery. Low milk yield, smelling and watery milk for that of mastitis. But in ketosis, the milk is not usually watery nor smelling, but only reduction in milk yield. Then we have muscular tremor as a symptom. Low feed consumption. Low feed consumption, the animals definitely will lose appetite are unable to feed well. Secretion of sweet atom containing milk, which smell like chloroform. Secretion of sweet atom containing milk, which smell like chloroform, is another symptom of ketosis. Let's take note of that. Correction, treatment, or control. Correction, treatment, or the control. 1. Inject animals with glucose. You inject animals with glucose. Then, glucose deficiency, glucose leads to ketosis. When animals are having deficiency of glucose, then animals will be infected by ketosis. Let's take note of that. So in the treatment, you inject the animals with glucose. 2, you feed animals with molasses as well. These are the corrective measures of ketosis. I believe we are following. Let's look to the general principles of preventing and controlling animal diseases. General principles of preventing and controlling animal diseases. 1. Animals should be provided with clean and ventilated houses and dry bedding. Animals should be provided with clean and ventilated houses and dry beddings. That is regular or good sanitation measure. The farmer should always practice good sanitation measures. Animals should be kept in a very clean environment to prevent the spread of any disease. 2. Vaccination of animals. Vaccination of animals at their different stage of growth. Vaccination of animals at their different stage of growth. This is very important. You have different stages of animals' growth. When you notice a particular stage, the animals should be vaccinated. Vaccination will help to prevent the spread of this disease. It will prevent them from being infected by a particular disease, whether ketosis, mastitis, ringworm, brandworm infection, aspergillosis, anthrax, and so on. Vaccination will help to prevent them from being infected by any of these diseases. Isolation of sick animals. Isolation of sick animals and newly purchased animals for at least 2 weeks. You isolate animals that are sick. Then when you get animals you want to introduce into or among the existing ones, you isolate those ones for 2 weeks to know if they have been infected. Just like what is going on in the country today. When someone comes from overseas, they will be isolated for 2 weeks to know if they have been infected by coronavirus. After 2 weeks, there is no symptom. Such person is free to move around. So in this case, when animals are isolated, newly purchased animals are isolated, it will help them to identify a particular animal that have been infected by any form of disease. So it is very important for a farmer to isolate newly purchased animals for breeding, or sick animals should be isolated among healthy animals. Regular dipping and spraying of animals with insecticide that can destroy some ectoparasites. Ectoparasites are parasites that live outside the body of the organism. They derive their food from their host, from other organisms, which serves as their host. So when animals are sprayed with insecticide, ectoparasite like tick can be destroyed. Another one is regular deworming of animals. Regular deworming of animals. Then always seek the advice of a veterinary doctor. I have been mentioning a veterinary officer who is in better position to identify the kind of disease the animals are being infected with. When you see similar symptoms, it is difficult for a farmer to identify which of the disease that the animal is being infected with. A veterinary officer will be the one to identify that particular disease in order to administer treatment. Then, elimination of infected animals by slaughtering. Infected animals can be killed. The farmer can decide to slaughter infected animals to prevent the spread of such disease. Alright, we have come to the end of today's class. Further reading, read up Essentials of Agricultural Science for Junior Secondary by Ernest Chukwudi Ani. Take note of the author. Agricultural Science for GSS 2 by S. Omosekeji as well is a very good test for further reading. You study other farm animal diseases. We have come to the end of animal diseases generally. Remember, we have treated that of fungi, virus, bacteria, worm, and we just treated diseases caused by nutritional disorder. We have treated that of protozoa. Alright, take up the assignment for today. Outline 5 general symptoms of animal diseases. 5 general symptoms. Please note, not on a particular disease. General symptoms. General symptoms of animal diseases. General symptoms of animal diseases. Take note of this word. Then send your response to the email below, vera.okenye@greenlandhall.org. Thank you for listening. I remain Vera Okenye. Bye.